A really quick tutorial today showing you how you can blur elements in a screen recording. Maybe you've created a product demo for your software product and you're looking to hide some client information before you share it with the world. Today, I'm going to show you a couple of different methods, one using a completely free video editing tool called DaVinci Resolve, and the other using Howdy Go, which is an interactive product demo tool specifically for creating software product demos. Let's take a look. Okay, so I've got an example application here. It's a software product, and I'm just going to create a screen recording using Howdy Go. Click Start Recording, and it'll capture all of the HTML and CSS that's going on to create this product demo. So I'm going to open up a user's information, and maybe we want to hide some elements in this page. I'm also going to scroll down the page a little bit so that you can get a feel for that as well. Okay, we'll hit stop, and then that's going to upload to Howdy Go, and we are going to be thrown directly into the editor. We're now in the Howdy Go editor, and in order to blur some elements, we can just turn on the Blur UI tool, and then we can click on any elements that we want to hide from the viewer. We can also right-click on any element and select one of its parents, so then we can apply it to, for example, the entire table and blur that entire element as well. In order to unblur, you just click on the same element and it unblurs that element for you. And optionally, you can also apply edits. So for example, if I wanted to change Jesse to just example at example.com, I can do that very simply. I can also do a find and replace. So if I go Bonnie at example.com, it will find all of the matches for Bonnie at example.com, and then those edits will be applied as well. These edits are applied across all steps in your demo. So rather than just being applied to the one step, if I go to the next, we can also see, for example, if I apply a blur to this element, we can see that it blurred in the background of this step as well. So very convenient to use there, a little bit quicker. You can also hide elements if you kind of wanted to approach that slightly differently. So you can literally just click and apply them. If you need to reset anything, you can always do that as well. Reset, and that is literally the process of creating a blurred screen recording within Howdy Go. Very easy to use. Howdy Go, plenty of tutorials on my channel. Please like and subscribe if you have a moment. Now I'm going to show you how you can apply a blur to a screen recording using a tool called DaVinci Resolve, which is completely free. And you can apply this to any video that you've already created. So it could work for you if you've already gone through the process of capturing the screen. We're going to start by adding our screen recording into the media pool, which you can do by just importing media, and then it'll show up in here. And then you drag it onto the timeline, as I've already done. Then we're going to jump over into the clip and cut view, just because it's a little bit nicer to use. You're going to right click and choose add track, and that'll add a video to track. And then from here, we will search for adjustment clip, and get into why I use adjustment clips for this in a moment. An adjustment clip is effectively a layer that sits on top and allows you to apply different transformations to the underlying media in timeline. So what we can do now is that we've created this adjustment clip. We can jump over into the Fusion editor. The Fusion editor allows us to apply various effects. And in here, we're going to right click and choose add tool, and then choose blur, and then apply a Gaussian blur. So we can just choose blur and it'll do a Gaussian blur for us. If we wanted to, we could apply an adjustment to the blur amount. So we can do that by going like this. Very good. And then from there, we can jump back into the editor. And as you can see, it's applied a blur across the entirety of the image, which is fine, but not ideal. So in order to make this a little bit tidier, we can't use the adjustment things because those will adjust the zoom factor or the position of the underlying video feed as well. So in order to blur just a single element within this view, we're going to jump back into the Fusion editor. And from here, we can click on the rectangle button. And the rectangle button will basically instantly apply a mask, which you can move around as necessary. You can also adjust the size of it by just using these little drag bars. So we can do that now. We're just going to blur this column of names. So we'll stretch that out to the full length of the view, and we'll put it to a slightly narrower width, and then we'll move it on the screen so that it blurs out these names, which is fine. And if we go back into the editor, you can see that it's applied the blur across those names, and it sort of applies it on the actual zoomed element as well. But unfortunately, when it scrolls, you can see that it shows an adjustment there. So what we can do to fix that is that we can shorten this. We can change the keyframe to move this the position as we go. So for example, if we get to the next screen here, we don't want to apply this blur across the screen. We can use this clip cut to limit the time that it's on page. And then the blur is just applied to there, but we still need to fix that scroll effect. So in order to fix that scroll effect, we open up the Fusion editor again, and we're going to use a thing called keyframes to basically follow the scroll effect as it occurs. So in order to do that, we will take a look at this is the timeline of the animation. And you can see as we start to scroll there, we're going to click on one of these little diamond next to the center point. And as we move along, we can see that it kind of needs to be moved upwards in order to blur this out effectively. So let's just move it to where we sort of stop scrolling. And then we'll click again on the keyframe, and we will move it up in order to blur all of those components. And if you need to adjust the height, you can do that as well. So click the little arrow chevron next to it and jump back to the beginning. We're going to need to expand the height of this, so we'll add a keyframe there as well. Then we'll jump forward, and then we will extend the height here as well. So we'll click on the diamond again to increase that, and we'll extend the height. There we go. And now if we jump back to the beginning of the scroll effect, we can go play, and you can see that it has applied that scroll effect, but then it's obviously moved back again. So we're going to need to create another adjustment in order to make sure that that is also not visible. As you can see here, we're also getting a little bit of the names here. So we're going to need to adjust the height a little bit more. Maybe we just increase that. This is a tedious process, as you can tell. Unfortunately, that is just the way it goes. And sometimes it takes a lot longer than you would expect. So here we just need to add another one in there and extend the blur. And this doesn't always work perfectly, to be honest. It's just a bit of a finicky process. And then as we scroll up, we need to add in another keyframe. So we'll do that now. There. And we'll add in a keyframe, and then as we scroll there to here, when we stop moving, we'll just put that there, and we can adjust the Y position down again. And then we go back to our timeline, and we can watch that in real time. Okay, that looks okay. Obviously, it depends a little bit on the situation where you need to apply this blur, but as you can see, we've got a blur applied. So that's how you would do it in DaVinci Resolve, and then from an exporting perspective, you can just go quick export and choose one of these video formats. That's how you apply a blur to a screen recording in both HowdyGo and DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is a good example of a video editing tool and how you would apply a blur to an element on the page. Unfortunately, it's pretty consistently a similar kind of experience. So regardless of the tool that you use, you will probably find that you'll have to adjust the position of that element or that blur element as things move around on the page. If you are looking for a more simple solution, then I really recommend heading over to howdygo.com and trying that out for yourself. We have a 2-week free trial. You can create interactive product demos. You can also export them as videos as well. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me to continue to build more of these tutorials. I also have other videos that might be helpful if you're just getting started demoing your product. We spend a lot of time thinking about how people demo their products and making sure that they do it with best practices implemented. So hopefully you find that helpful. Have a great day.